Hey there, YouTube friends. Masked Bandit here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I always appreciate it. And, welcome back to Conifer Slopes, everyone. I told you'd be back. Now that Surfside's done and wrapped up and released and POV'd and cinematicked, it's time to bust out this old beauty. I haven't been in this park since June 30th, or at least that's the last time I saved. Hello, Mr. Security Guard. I want to zoom out here. And actually, I want to exit the Tegid cam. Yeah, let's exit the Tegid cam. And I want to bring it over here to you all and show you what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to try this little format, a little bit different than what we're used to. Basically, today, we're going to be working on this area. We're going to try and get this area looking a little bit spiffier. I'm going to be honest with you. You can see I did some of this off camera. Tried to start theming this to hide the ugly crap behind it, and while it's okay, I don't like this raised thing that looks really funky. I don't like that, so I'm gonna get rid of it. So we're actually going to start by deleting this, and we're gonna put something new in, and we'll get that done. And then I think we're gonna head over here and shore this up a little bit more, maybe do a little bit of work in here. And then we're going to finish it off. We're going to try to add a structure right here. So that's what you can expect in the time-lapse. So sit back, relax, and enjoy that. And when we're done with the time-lapse, we'll do another little real-time portion to take a look at it. So I'll see all of you on the other side of this cut. So there we are, deleting everything that we need to delete, basically everything. Smoothing this area out, making it look a little bit better. I love what Jonti did. So I don't want to touch anything of his. I'm going to try to keep everything just about as untouched as I can. Because I think he did an awesome job, and my goal now is to connect what I've built with what he's built into something that sort of makes a little bit of sense. So you'll notice we plopped down a Monte Leon. The whirly rig, I like the idea of the whirly rig, but I don't like the execution of the whirly rig, and I also don't like the little theming of the whirly rig. I didn't think that. I would have had to cover it up, and that's what I was talking about when I said the crap behind it. I would have had to cover it up. And that's just then automatically makes it that much more difficult of a job. So I guess instead we'll do this Monte Leon and we'll give it a custom cover. How that's easier, I don't know. Maybe because I just did one of these for Surfside, or sort of. Or maybe just because I at least understand these a little bit better, or they're easier because it is a rather unthemed thing. But yeah, this is going to be a really, really simple just a really simple cover. I don't want it to be anything fancy. I want it to be relatively simple. That being said, it needs a custom roof because there's really no way you can do these wedges without the custom roofing. The purple on the... I think I'm already falling into the tropes of the purples too much. I think I use purple too much in this park, so may need to change that, which would be a total pain. But I definitely need to change the colors of the Monte Leon themselves. It's not cutting it for me, so that doesn't mesh very well. So yeah, so we're back. Like I said, obviously Conifer Slopes is back for now, and some people have been asking, because I did mention that we'll be doing Conifer Slopes and Bronation Studios. I did mention they would both be back, and so someone's already asked, does this mean that this is back too? Yeah, Bronation will be back. I opened it up. When will it be back? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to alternate between Conifer and Bronation, or if I'm going to do a couple Conifers and then hop over to Bronation Studios and do that. I don't know. But I do know that if you're looking for Planet Coaster content, you'll get one of those two pretty much exclusively. I'd like to do a small Halloween project. Granted, October starts like next week. But I would like to do a small Halloween project. Something even smaller than Surfside. A small little farm, maybe with like a little fair. I don't know. Something that I could do relatively quickly within a month. Something that wouldn't require the amount of detail and precision that something like Conifer Slopes does. The thing about Conifer Slopes is I love it, and it's my pet project, but that's just it. It's my pet project. So I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to details and things, and trying to go slower and making it look as good. Making it I don't know how to describe it, because not that I rushed through Surfside and didn't enjoy it, but it's a different vibe. This park is a different animal. This park is its own kind of thing, and this park isn't made for YouTube, I think is the way to say it. This park is 100% for me, and so there are certain things that I want to do that I will do, and it might take longer, and it might mean that episodes take longer, but I think at the end of the day, they're going to be strong and worth waiting for. My goal is to make episodes worth waiting for. If you can't upload every day, make them good enough to make people want to wait for them. That's my goal. We'll see if that happens. So, again, just doing some details here on to flesh out the idea here. I want these little rope fences. I think they're fine. I think they convey the little nautical thing. But I also think they go fairly well enough. Like, the issue I had here is I wanted everything to be still themed, lightly themed to the wharf area, but generic enough that you could potentially see it not sticking out like a sore thumb with the awesome medieval stuff. So that's the balance here of this little area. This is totally a transition area. These little curbs here, I like this idea of staggering higher and lower pieces. Inspiration from that comes actually from a RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 scenery set by Ryan, CTRS Industries, the one who... well, if you're familiar with my channel, you know who Ryan is. He's episode 11 of Bro Coaster. But he was a custom scenery guy for RollerCoaster Tycoon, and he made a set of curbs like that. And they did that. They had some cutouts and stuff like that. And I really like that. So I tried to emulate that just a little bit. Throwing in a little bit of color here, not too much, still mostly green. But I figured just close to the path, you can afford a couple pops of color. They could be watered regularly without too much trouble. Anything far enough away from the main path is just going to be pretty much all green, because getting in there and cutting it, nobody wants to do that. I know I don't want to do that. So I do like how flat the roof of the Monte Leone turned out. I think that's a nice... I didn't want it to be real pointy and steep. I figured there's enough spiry things in here that we don't need anything else to be really a big draw to the eye. He says before the main structure of the episode is built. So, one of the things I noticed that's kind of an issue is I hopped back into Conifer at the time where it's time to start thinking about little details again, and curbing and pathing and fencing and all those things that I hate to do. Basically, what prevented Surfside from finishing like a month ago is basically kind of where we're at. I kind of did oh crap. Like I mentioned in a Bro Coaster episode, oh crap. There's nothing fun left to do. And there really is not much fun left to do in this area. We got to shore it up. I'm going to take my time with it. I'm going to make it look good. That's my plan. I do like the Zephyr sign, by the way. I know I'm all tangential today. I think the Zephyr sign sat there for forever, and I know people were like, I don't know. I think it works. I don't think it necessarily has to convey a theme. It just has to convey that the ride is here. And I think it does that, and I like it. And so it's going to stay. Again, I'm kind of encasing the ride now in its own like cleared out space. Like theoretically, they cleared out some woods because the Conifer Slopes is supposed to be predominantly wooded, so they cleared out some woods for this ride. And so just kind of snugging it up and making it a little more intimate, making it feel a little more permanent. That's kind of what we're doing here on the queue part. Adding some simple bushes and such what. And I think I do some terrain work at the coast, because the coast is really, really steep. And I figured if this is a river or a lake, man-made or otherwise, it's not going to be super duper steep. So that might be coming up in a few minutes. Had to do some cover for people, that nothing falls on you when the coasters go spinning over your head. Although I did realize there's a bunch of places where it does that and we don't have anything, but what are you going to do? The queue is very, very close to the coaster in this ride. But I like the really close interaction. I think it's safe enough. I don't know. I don't know. There's the terrain work, the painting and all that. Trying to do some terrain painting, real gentle brush, low intensity, large footprint, just to kind of give us a little bit of different feel there. And now we're going to start entering... I don't know what I'm doing here, messing with settings. Oh, cranking the settings up. Max settings. And now it's time to start fiddling around with the main structure here. Thought about it for a long time about what could I do to tie these two areas together. What is there anything that I can find in common with these areas? And after pondering it, I thought a church would make a lot of sense. But then it was do you make a stone church more European in nature, or do you make one of those like colonial churches that's mostly paneled wood? Like I'm thinking like if you've ever seen the Danny Elfman Sleepy Hollow movie, like that old white church that the horseman friggin' harpoons a guy throws it through a window and harpoons a dude. Anyway, that's way off task. And I decided to go more the European route. And you'll notice we're doing a custom spire because the in-game spire is just too big for the scale. It's just one of those things that's got to get done. And again, this is one of those things where like, I'm doing it because I need it. I want it. It's going to make it look better in the end, and I'm going to take the time to do it. And it's worth it. It's worth the tedium, I think, and the piece count to do it. I am looking at a reference image here I just Googled European church model. At first I did railroad, but I got rid of that, and I just did a European model church, or a model church European, and looked around for something simple that I could also see existing somewhere in the United States. And this one came up, and it is incredibly simple. And it's not until the very end, when we start putting some details on it, that I really end up being sold with the idea of how it looks. Like, at first I was like, oh, this is just a big box. And to be fair, when you look at a lot of these medieval or these older stone churches, especially models of them, which is what a lot of the buildings in Conifer are influenced by, they're pretty boxy, and it's just the details that make them pop, you know? So that's what we're doing here, and I think it works well. We got this little doodad here that if I didn't already add that, I might have forgotten to add that actually. The little topper, that's from the vintage pack. I should go back and add that if I haven't already. Oh man, I'll have to check it out. So doing some light color tweaks, that's one of those tricks that Silverette teaches you when you watch his little dome video. I think it's when you watch the spire and dome video. If not, I've just watched enough Silverette to know that that's what you do. You highlight a couple of them. I think he also offsets a bunch of them so it actually looks like shingles. Okay, that might be a little bit too much for me. Or doing some trim here to the tower, again pulling the details from my reference image, and then it's just a matter of building the church. And actually, the roof line of all things really kind of threw me off, and also this church tower is way too squat. You'll see as we start building the church that it is way too short, so we end up raising it quite a bit. Originally wanted to use these Victorian roofs, but I didn't like the little texture that was on the side, so I used the standard those, whatever they're called, what are they, shingled roofs. But you'll see here, because I plan to make this a functional building, it is too short, so I need to raise everything up a bit. See, there we go. Place it, pop it in, boom, done. So, no, too high. So there you go. And then I was like, I got a half wall, what am I going to do? And then I remembered those little station pieces work great if you just want to extend it by a half wall. So that's a cool trick. If you're looking for a cool trick and you have like a wall and a half, you can use those pieces. You can use the station pieces, and you can make a half a wall with them if you use the smallest grid size and sink them into the existing wall. You might get a little Z fighting, but totally worth it if that's what you want to get. If you want a wall and a half, some buttresses added to the side there to kind of make it look more like a church and less like a square with a tower on it. But I think that little detail really does help sell it as a church. And then this is when I realized how wonky the Planet Coaster scale is. None of the church doors I wanted to use fit except for that one. And that's not even a church door. That's just a simple little arched stucco door. But it works. It's fine. It works fine. I was surprised that on the reference image there were no more windows on the bell tower. But then I thought about it. I'm like, oh, if it's a bell tower, I guess you wouldn't need necessarily windows for it. I don't know. I can count on one hand the number of bell towers I've been in. It's one. I was actually up in the bell tower at Christchurch in Dublin. We went up there for our honeymoon, and we got to ring the bells. They let you ring the bells on the tour. It was pretty fun. Really narrow stairway going up to the bell tower, though. And short little door. You had to walk across like the top of the roof. It was crazy. Anyway, you can see what's going on here. We're just trimming up the details so that nothing sticks out, nothing looks gross. And then that is getting to be the end of ye old episode here. Simply adding some more stone trim to kind of make it look a little bit better, look a little bit more finished. Because I mean, if I always like to add trims, usually on the sides and on the bottom of the buildings, just to make them look a little bit more complete and finished, like a little bit more care and attention has gone into them. Sometimes it's not like realistic, but I still like it because I think it just, like I said, it just makes it feel more complete. So, and then we throw in a pizza place. I don't want it to be a pizza place. I need a name suggestion. Something along the lines of the stuff in No Name Landia. We're talking about Mind Gluten and Fizz Whiz and Pucker Up and TFB. I need a fun play on words for an item that this church can sell so that it can be an item. I tried to add an extra stall on the side. It was going to be holy water. That's lame, I know, but it ended up looking like a goiter, so I removed it. It did not fit at all. Like it's clear that it was just a tack on. So yeah, right now it sells pizza. I don't like that. I'd like it to sell something else. So if you can think of something else it can sell, let me know in the comments below. Give me your name ideas for shops. It could be anything. I thought Holy Guacamole, but I think there's already a product called Holy Guacamole, so I'd rather not. I do like this little, using the adventure squares as a path here, and then using the terrain. That's going to be like the employee entrance, and then just making it look kind of pretty. Also makes it, again, look more established and more completed. And then after that, that's pretty much the end of the time lapse. So what's going to happen here is we're going to let it finish out. It's going to take just a minute or so, and I'm going to come back and we're going to go over this in real time. Now the issue here is I've already recorded this real time portion, including the audio, but there was something funky with the audio, and so it sounded like I was underwater and it sounded like I was all bass, no treble. So what's going to happen is I'm going to wing it, and I'm actually going to record it like while watching the footage. So if things seem a little funk, apologies. I don't want to go back into the game and reload this and try and fake the same stuff I was saying. You know what I mean? So we're adding some final things here. Going to add a little seating area using some of the fantasy benches. And then we are going to hop into the real-time portion to take a look at what we did in the time-lapse. So I will see you on the other side of this next cut. Oh. So you can see here we are in the real-time portion. You can see sort of how everything is kind of laid out. It's kind of sometimes hard to see that in the time-lapse. Doesn't necessarily always work that way. So let's take a look. Let's do a little bit more. Let's zoom. We're going to zoom out a little bit, apparently. Again, I'm posting this while I'm watching it, not in real time. Here's another view of how it all kind of works together. As far as what's going to go on the other side, I don't know. Here's the Monte Leon that we have. It needs a name. I'm not sure what its name is going to be right now. Did I give it a name? No, Tejidcam. All right, so you get a better view of it in Tejidcam. I think it shows itself better in Tejidcam. We need a name, something stormy, something weather-related, perhaps, to go with typhoon and all that other stuff. And like I mentioned in the time-lapse, the colors are not final yet, but I do like this little queue here, and I like how we end up going underneath here. I think that's pretty cool. I think that turned out well. We got our little backstage area here, and if you look, we're going to add some stairs right there where we have the backstage, and all this needs to be shored up. Jonti did a great job of getting us started there. We'll have to finish that up before the Phase 2 release. He mentioned Phase 2 release. Yes, he did. Ooh. It's actually not that far away, but yeah, I like the simplicity of the Monte Leon. I think it does its job just fine. And then we did some stuff here with Zephyr. We did some simple fencing and put the sign in a more permanent place. Need to sink the little pieces down. But I like it because you get a nice view of the ride while you also see the sign. And then we're going to take a quick jaunt through the queue here, and you'll see how close the queue gets. And you can take a look at the very basic landscaping we did, and I'll probably shore it up a little bit more. Excuse me, a little bit more, but yeah, that coaster gets really close. You might knock your hat off if you're too close. So, but I'm starting to really dig this queue. There's our overhang that we made, but you'll also, like I said, you'll notice that we don't have any right there. Oh well. But yeah, the queue now, I like it. I like that it's kind of open, and then you get into this nice covered area where you'll spend most of your time. I do need to put some concrete paving down here. Probably going to use the adventure squares for that. I think that'll do the best job of it. But again, the simplicity of it, they're not going to spend a lot of money to do some covers for a queue, but you still get some nice views as it goes by there. I do like it. This coaster, hated it at first, really starting to enjoy it now. I think it's coming into its own. A little bit of more netting and stuff to kind of give a hint at a theme, and now we're going to hop out of here. And let's take a look at the church. A much more slowed down view. Hi there. Pizza. Don't like it. Want to change it. Just mentioned it in the time lapse, but you can see how simple of a building it is, how flat it all is, and you can see. You can see. Apparently not, as I'm having trouble here. You'll see me screwing with the FOVs. It's just, I think it does its job. I think it does a good job of connecting the two areas, kind of being a focal point. And I like the part with the benches on the side. And as far as what's going to be to the left of that, not sure exactly. Might have another area. I need to do some planning, some grand planning here. So one of the things I do want to show you here as we zoom out, as we turn around, and we can see that now this church is kind of a focal point as you walk underneath the cave. Walk through the little tunnel there, and boom, you get that nice view of the church to kind of draw you in, draws you right into the medieval land without, you can see, without necessarily drawing your attention away. And I like that from this angle, that church kind of fits in. It's not obtrusive. It's different than everything else around it, but I don't think that's necessarily bad. I still think it fits the area. So as we get some views here, the only thing that I'm really not happy with is the ass end of the Monte Leone. I think it really is an eyesore there. So I'm going to try to dress it up a little bit. Maybe just some trees and stuff so you can see less of it. I think that might be one way to counteract that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You get some nice views here. You can see, I like the staff walking around. It gives you a good idea of scale. This little area is kind of cute, like this little transition area. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It's kind of a weirdly developed area. But yeah, I like it. Some more views of your church. I don't know what I'm trying to do here, but yeah. So I think I'm trying to find a good image for a screenshot, and I realized, that's harder to do than I thought it was. So we end up making Zephyr our screenshot. So with that being said, this is going to do it for the end of our time-lapse portion. But look at that. You get Category 5 and Zephyr. Oh, come on. That's pretty cool. So with that being said, have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever, and I'll see all of you for the next episode of Conifer Slopes. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.